Hello, everyone. So we are going to start episode 13 of the Anyone Python season 3. So as I announced last week, the Anyone Python will be end by the end of the the month, the July. So we have the three, including today. So we have the three more episodes. So this is my plan. So today we are going to talk about the string. So that is the another important data type when you are doing any the programming. So then the next week we will talk about the uh, text the file IO, how to read and write the data on your file. Then the last episode will deal with the dictionary, which is the main difference from the Java programming language. So, and also very, very important data structure for future use, including data science and data processing. Also, a lot of AI application use the dictionary data type. So however, the 1 hour episode is not enough to cover each the topic. So even though we have some remainder of the each topic, each episode, I'm not going to extend the episode like the list. Instead, I'm going to wrap up for each episode, then try my best to introduce these three. Then the July 30. So I think the 31st. July 31st. So we will end or wrap up the Indian Python season 1 to 3. So starting from the beginning of a pandemic, but hopefully the end of pandemic. So we will complete the Indian Python. Okay. So as a user, please turn on your video. That is the best the way to help me. Without your help, it's very, very tough. Getting hard. It's true. So getting hard for me to do the lecture. So please share the feedback with the others. And if you have any questions, so always there are three TAs: the Brian, Nick, and Erwin. They are ready to help you. So please use the chat box where you can unmute by yourself from me, because we have the very small number group of students in this June the meeting. So you can intro me, then even I can help you. So I'm going to a little bit speed up, so it'll be harder. So if you have any questions, please use the chat box to get help from the TA. That's the best way to complete. So okay, let's start. Before we start, let me share my desktop. And this one we don't need this. And start with the stretch. Okay, so uh, always when I start any the class for computer and computer science, so I'm starting with the stretch, because the most of the job regarding to the coding and the computer science is on your desk and the chair, so not much chance to stretch. And it's sometimes you will get hurt the spine and neck. So please from time to time stretch, and that is the best way to protect your body and the posture. Okay, so let's start today's topic regarding to the string. So as I mentioned, it will be a little bit faster than usual, because we have run out of time. We have three more episodes, so I'm going to a little bit speed up. So in Python, so this is the suggestion, and even I did a lot when I learned the new program languages. So there are two things to keep your mind when you learn any program language. One is what kind of data type that the program languages support. Like for example, Python. So Python has the data type. So we talk a lot before. What kind of data type the Python support? So if you know the answer, you can use the chat box. So what kind of data type we can use in Python? Can anyone answer the what kind of data type are available in Python? Yes, Daniel said integer, very nice. So lovely. So very nice answer. So why don't you give the thumbs up to the Daniel? So as we discussed a lot, any program language, including Python, deal with the first the number. So this is the number, and another one is the character. So regarding to the number, unlike the many other the program languages, Python is much simpler. So as the Daniel answer, it has the integer. Integer can keep the whole number, and another type is float. Float actually the decimal point, like the real number, rational number. So such a decimal point number can be stored at such a float. Then on the other hand, the character. So Python provides the very nice way and the simple and easy way, the data type, which is called the string. So today we are going to learn about how to store the character. We already use the string data type, but today we are going to see more details how to use such a string data type. Plus, this is the data type. So when I learned any the program language, first take a look at what kind of data type are supported in the program language. Plus, one other thing is the flow control. So for example, if or for loop, and also the while loop. How to use such a the flow control in the program language. Then if you understand the data type, where you can store the data, either number or the string. So if you know the data type, the next thing is how to use if and if or for loop, while loop. Then I think that you can do the 80-90% of the programming quickly. Okay, so today we are going to see more detail how to use the string. Okay. So what is a string? By the way, the string is the data type to keep the alphabet like that. But the string, so actually if for example, we can define we have used the hello world style the program. So it's if you take a look at the hello, so string. So it's a HELLO exclamation mark. So which means, so hello is the word, but the word has a number of sequence of character, or sometimes say the letter. So computer actually cannot understand the hello as a word. No way. Instead, computer can understand each letter, each character, like this one. So when we are using the character or when we are using the string, so it's different from what you are thinking in your mind. So today we are going to see exactly how computer deal with such a string. Okay. So let's start from the hello. So let's do something. So why don't you open the PyCharm? So as I share the link for today's annual Python file, why don't you download the zip file and unzip and save the folder to the annual Python folder, then open the PyCharm project for that folder, then you will see this kind of thing. Okay, then before we start, so why don't you click the Python console. So let's say the text. The text is the hello. Why don't you type follow me? So hello is the text. Then if you enter, then the text is a variable that keep the HELLO exclamation mark, the hello. So if you take a look at your right hand side, this one shows the memory. So as you can see here, the text is str. It's a string data type. Actually, the string is not the data type. It's sometimes later when you are familiar with the Python program language, string is called the class. But right now, don't worry about that. Instead, just keep your mind, string is a data type to keep the character. Okay, so this is the hello, the string. However, using our Enion Python screen. So this is the Enion Python screen. Okay, so as I mentioned many times, right-hand side is our code and the right-hand side in the memory. On the memory, the computer stores the hello. It's like this way. H, then E, then R, O, exclamation mark, like this. Have you ever seen this kind of arrangement before? Anyone who remember? Have you ever seen this kind of organization in Python? You did. It's a from list, right? Very nice, Daniel. So it's the same way as the list used. List, you remember a list. If you create the a list, like for example, a list, then we use the bracket, then H, E, L, O, like this way. So this is the same as almost, but the a list is the list, but the text is the string. So actually, the Python create a specialized list to store the string character data. So if you cannot understand exactly what's going on in string, you can think about imagine the list, almost the same, the functionality. So this is the kind of the list for the string, but slightly different. We will see. What's the same thing? What's the different? But if you are confused, then think about the string is kind of a list. That's pretty much enough right now. Okay, then you can print using the print. So if you type the print, the text, then the Python, read the text variable, then the print out the list like that. Then if the Professor Lee said the string is like a list, so can I use this kind of you remember this in the list? So for example, the A list, the print, I'd like to see the A list, the first index, that's the 0. Then the AH is displayed. So then I like to see the third, the element of the A list from the list, 0, 1, 2. So it's probably L. Can I do the same thing on the string? What do you think? What do you think? Can I use the same approach to read the element of the string? What do you think? Yes or no? If you think that yes, we can use, why don't you give me thumbs up? No. Daniel said no. Any others? Jonathan said yes. So why don't we try? So print. First, what is the text? The text first, text is hello. Then print text 0. What I want to hear is I'd like to display H. First one, yes, it display. What about the 1? It's a E. What about 2? Yes, it's L, and so on. But what about the 5? What's discrimination? What about 6? There's no one. It's almost an index error. It's the same. It said the index error. It's the same as the list. So we can use we can access for each element, for each character of the string using index number. This is so cool, and this is the really convenient way to deal with, to play with the string. Okay. So actually, this is if you don't understand this one right now, don't worry. Okay. But if you are able to understand, it's better for you. So later you will be the understanding this. So I'm not sure how much of you, how many of you remember stack and heap. Do you remember? The last time that we talked about the stack is like the stack of the data. So computer used the two ways to store the data: bookshelves, the memory or location. So one is the stack. It's a stack of the data. Another one is the heap. Heap is like the next to each other. It's a sequence. It's always the two-way, either of them. So when you are using the string, this is a real story. So first main function is created, like this one, where it's a stack. Always is created on a stack. Why? I'm not going to answer. So later you will figure out. If you are interested, or if you are going to major in computer science, definitely you should know. Otherwise, don't worry, even though you don't understand. But it's a cool story. Then, if you create the text, HELLO, it's like this way. Actually, the hello is not created on a stack, even not in main function. This will be created on a heap area. Heap area is like the free space. So you always put a lot of the books over here next to each other, like it's a temporary space. So where you are able to store such a bunch of data, HELLO, like the list or the string, like that. Then there is the address, like your house has the zip code or the string number. It's the address. So using this address, so the text variable. Actually, variable does not keep the HELLO. Instead, it has the address of the data, like this one. Okay. Then why? Why the computer makes me so confused? Why? What if just store the HELLO hello inside this? Why don't you guys figure it out? Okay, it's a homework. So why don't you can ask your friend, or you can ask your teacher, you can ask your bro or the sister who know the computer, or even you can ask your parents. So why don't you try to find the answer? Why computer, the Python store the HELLO or the list data separately? Okay. So why don't you try to find? But this is the real story. Okay. Then, as I said, the string in Python give a lot of tools to handle the string data. Okay, so let's quickly see. So why don't you use your Python console? So first, to create the text, hi mom, like this. So we have a text variable hi mom. So first function as a user, we have already used the length function, len. This is a built-in function. Even though you do not create this one, always, anywhere, anytime, you are able to use the length function. What is the output of the length of the text? It's the index, the size, length of the data. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the length of the disk. Okay, then what is the text 0? Text 0 is the age. Text 3, so it's the mom. 0, 1, 2, 3. It's the M will be returned like this. Okay. Then you already know how to use the string. with some functions. So why don't we solve this problem? It's a string example. Why don't you open your Python? Then first the string the example. First the string example. Then so if you see the main function, so we already used the sum of them. The example hi mom and length is the len example and print length we already did. And also you are able to access each letter character using index. Oh, don't forget such an index number always start from 0. It's not 1. So 0 means it's the first H like this. So why don't you run this program first? Oops, terminal. So Python 3 and run. The first, you don't have to type everything, just 2 or 3 letters, then tab. Why don't you always use the autofill function, then enter. So you can see the 7 is the length of the hi mom exclamation mark, and H is the first character letter of the example. So you can the display. Then there's one more task that you need to solve. So this time, what you're gonna do is this part. You are going to display 0H, 1I, 2 space, 3M, like this one. What is this? This is the index number. Index number, and next followed by the corresponding, the letter. So for example, hi mom, H is a 0, so 0H, and 1I, 2, the space, and so on. So you are going to display line by line, one line, the index number, and the corresponding the letter. So why don't you delete the past and fill out the code over here. Okay. So why don't you start? I will give the maybe 3-minute hint. There are always the different type of solution. The easiest way is you can print just directly print the 0H1. So that is the brute force way, easiest way, naive way, but you can use the full loop. You can use this is a hint. You can use the full loop to solve the problem. Why? Because the full loop, using full loop, you are able to access the list. But here, the example text, the string is also list. So you are able to use such a string over here. So why don't you try using to solve this problem using for loop? If you solve the problem, please give me thumbs up. If you have any doubt, if you cannot find any direction, so please ask to the TA. Even TA, you guys can also solve the problem. Wow, Elisa did the first, very nice. Who else? This is exactly the same problem as that you did in the list. The list, you already know how to use the range. So range provide the list of the number. Then, but this time, this is the list of the number. You should know how many maximum size of the length of the range. So how can you get? We learned the len, length function. So you can use the length function inside. Then you can get the region for I. Then you can do something inside. Anyone else who solve the problem? Let's solve the problem together. Why don't you follow me? If you do not know the answer, if you fail to run the program, please follow me. So first, we are going to use the for loop. The for loop, so index the variable I. There's no meaning. The why I use the I is just because of index. Then the first solution is we can use a range. So range is 0 to hopefully the 6. How can we get the 6? We can use the length. So length what is the example? The example. So this one create the example. Length of the example is the 7. We already got the here. Okay. Then it's a range 7. Range 7 means it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is a really good list index number to access the example, the string, one by one. How can we access? So let's say the character, the ch variable is example, the I. That's it. Then we can just print the I and ch. Okay. What do you think? So if you are not sure, you can just run the program. Wow. So this is the solution. So 0, H, 1, I, 2 is exactly same as this one. So one more time. So here, you are able to access the string, using index number, one character and another, the character by character, letter by letter. So this is the solution. But I wish you to know the index number list. How can we get? Using range function? But we are able to know the length of the example string, that is the length and of the example. There are different solutions, so you can try. As long as you got the same, the result is fine. Okay. Here, this is what's going on. If you don't understand this code, check that together. So this length is the length of the example is this time is should be, this is a high mount example, high mount. So length is in this case the 6. Okay, so this gonna be the 6 over here. Then the range 6 is a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Then for each the number, it will be assigned to the I index variable. Then the example I, that means example 0 is the first letter and the so on. Like this. Okay. So it's almost the same as the string. It's the same as the list, but is it really the same? So then, can I use the slice? So we learned the last time, so we can use the slice. So for your reminder, like the Python console, the A list, the 0, 2. Then it will display 0, first one, second, E, then less than 2 will be displayed. Even we can use the minus, so reverse order like that. So can I use this slice? Yes. So, but before we move on, so let's try. So like we have the text. Text is a print text. print text the 1, 0, 3. It will display HI 0, 1, 2. Actually, there is the space. So it displayed the part of the string, just like the slice used in the list. So if you understand how to use the slice in string, so exactly the same thing. If you do not know, please practice the more. Then, is it really the same as the list? Actually, it's not the same. So what is the different thing? So this is an example of the slice. I'm going to skip this part. Then here is the looping based on the for the string. So here, let's assign the near as in the name. Then this is a way to access. We have used before, but what about this one? Because the name, the string is the list. In list, we directly use the list as a collection of in for loop. Then can I use this one? Why not try? So why don't you go back to here? Then let's change the code. So here we are going to use the directly example. Then this is the CH. Then print CH. What do you think? Does it work? So what do you think? So can I use the directly string in the for loop? If you think that this one will be okay, why don't you give me thumbs up? How many of you believe this one? Do you think that it works? Let's try. So we can run the program. Yes, a lot of students agree this yes, like this. Even you can directly use the string, just like the list in the for loop. This is really convenient way to deal with the string like this. Okay. Then we already used such an operation. This operation is called the concatenation. Concatenation means we can combine the two strings. For example, the string 1 is the ABC, string 2 is the DF, then the string 3 is ABC plus the DEF. Then the string 3 will be ABC, DEF. Let's try. So we can go back to our Python console. String 1, ABC. And the string 2, DEF. And the string 3 is string 1 plus string 2. Okay, then print string 3. Yes, it's ABCDEF. However, there's one important thing. When you concatenate, when you concatenate the two strings, like this one, this string will not be appended to to another string. Instead, it will always create a new string, like the string 3, the ABCDEF. So this is a concatenation. Okay, there are more useful function, but I'm going to quickly introduce. The strip is the function. You can use the dot notation. I mentioned introduce the dot notation. Dot notation is the string dot strip. Then this function will be applied to the string object. So for example, the message is this one. This is a test, but I'd like to take out the space at the beginning and also a space at the end of the text. So at that time, you can use the strip, the function. Let's try. So for example, message is space. This is a test, like this one. But I don't want to have the space, the beginning and the last. So even though you print message, you still keep the space. But if you use the message, the strip function, strip like this, then print result. You can see that there's no more the space. The beginning, actually, there are no more space at the end. Okay, but if I the print the message, still there exists, because as I said, any string operation like a concatenation and other, it will create a new string like this. And there's another very useful function for the string that is called the split. Split function actually split the word by space like this one. This is a test like that. Okay, let's try. So for example, the list is message the split. Then enter, nothing happened. You can just print the my list. Then you can see that this is a test. What does that mean? The split function split the string by the space. So each word, then this word will be stored at the automatically list. So you can see that this going to first element is the second element, third is the A is the third element, test is the last element, like that. Automatically, the space at the beginning and the last will be removed. Okay, then there are many more. So let's quickly go over. So find function, you can guess what is a find function. It can find the location of this word. For example, the shout out, the find is. Where's the is here. Then what will be written? Index number, location number will be written. In this case, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be written. And the bad, where is the bad? No more bad. Then minus will be written. So let's try. So shout out is the praise. Awesome. Then the result one is the shout out. Then find is, where's the is? Then you can print result one. It's a 3. Why is a 3? Oh, let me check. Return the index of a first occurrence of the string to find. Oh yes, it's a 3 because the is, you can see the Chris also has the is. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3. Okay. The first occurrence of the is. It's my mistake. It's my fault. So is actually here. So 3 will be written. What about bad? So we can result 2 is bad. Then the print result, but there's no so bad in this the shutout the string. So -1 will be written. -1 means no. The no the bad is found in the message, the string. Okay. Then you can easily guess what is the upper the function. Upper function makes the string as the uppercase, right? Then what about the lowercase? There's a lower function, so you can use the lower. Okay, then I think that it should be lower, not upper. Upper is here. So I need to fix the slide. So this is the lower. Then the replace, and for example, you can replace PTY by Milton. So here the PPY will be replaced by the Milton, and the scrappy PPY will be replaced by the Milton. It's a scrap Milton like that. Okay. So this will be the expected output. Then there are a bunch of more, such as the string function. Is alpha actually the return the true or false, whether is this the alphabet or not? Is this the alphabet? If yes, it's a true. So for example, what is the output of the result one here? String one. String one is the alphabet. What do you think? Is it true or false? What do you think? Is it true or false? True, yes, very nice. It's a true because it's all alphabet. What about this one? There are space here. So string 2 is alphabet or not? Is it true or false? What do you think? Anyone else? So is it true or false? What do you think? Can it be the true? So is alpha is asking whether it's alphabet, but there is a space. 1, 2, 3 space. This is not the alphabet. So the output is false. Okay. Similarly, is this it? It's asking whether it's number or not. Even though it's inside the quotation mark, it's a string data type. I want to check whether this is an actually number or not. So it's a is this it function. So this will be true. Yes. But sometimes I want to check the whether is this the space because I cannot see. So you can check the is space with the is space function. It's so true. Then for your reminder, so I introduced the what is the ASCII code. ASCII code is the standard, the American standard of character blah blah blah. Actually, this is the code. So to convert the character into the binary code, like this one. For example, here the 0 is the 28. Actually, this is the hexa. It's a here it's a decimal number. It can be converted to the hexadecimal number. So like this one, this in this order, it will be saved. The 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the capital letter A, B, C, D, and then followed by the lowercase A, B, C, D, like this one. So this is a code. Computer use this the ASCII code to convert the character into the binary code. Nowadays, there are really many different languages like the Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and so on. Even we have the emoji. So to keep such a different language, the ASCII code is not good enough. ASCII code, they use only 1 byte of the data. It's an 8-bit. But to keep the all different languages, so 1 byte is not enough. It used the 2 byte. So then we need the new, the code table that's called the Unicode. Nowadays, we are using such a Unicode. So we can use such the Unicode, the code variable, ASCII code, and the Unicode. So for the comparison of the string, like for example, one more time, ASCII code is numbered from A to Z and followed by the lowercase. Even number is ordered like this one, 0 to 9. So how do I know? In Python, how do I know there's such a ASCII code value? So there is a before the built-in function which is called the ORD function. So for example, if you type the ORDA, this is the ASCII code value of the A, like this one. So what about the small? A is a 97. What about the 0? It's a 48, like that. So we can compare this in our test evaluation in if or the conditional statement. For example, here ALL is less than always or is less than always. At that time, computer Python use the such ASCII code value. So for example, A is the same, L is the same, then it determines LW. So L is lower and the W is higher. So this is gonna be true. And the good, bad, D is lower and G is higher. So this is a false, like this one. So you can use the ASCII code value to compare the order of the string. Okay. There's one more important thing. So last time when we talk about the list was mutable. So what's the meaning of the mutable? Mutable means it's a changeable. So we are able to change the list data from the anywhere in your program. However, even though string is very, very similar as the list string is not the mutable, which means you are not able to change the value. Then how can I so for example, this one. So we have the text high mark. I'd like to change capital letter H by the lowercase h. So can I do this text 0 is the H. What do you think? Does it work or not? What do you think? Yes or no? No. Jonathan said no. Any other? Yes, correct. Elisa, Jonathan, you are good. Because the string is not mutable. String is immutable. So you are not able to change each letter like this one. It will be error like this. Then how can I change the value? You can recreate like the text is the hi, mom, like this. You need to recreate. So always, whenever you change a string, you should create a new string. So this is the main difference from the list in the string in Python. Okay, let's see the example. So one more time, string is immutable. You are not able to change. So text, as I introduced the beginning of this class, text is like this one. Text, there is the address of the ABBA created on the here. So this is the address, then you are able to access. But if you add the exclamation mark, like the concatenation, Professor Lee said the string is immutable. Immutable means you are not able to change. So you cannot add the exclamation mark here. No way. Instead, the Python will create another one. So ABBA exclamation. Then address will be changed. Okay. So this is the main difference of the string from the list. Okay. Then, so one more time, list is immutable, which means you are able to change the value element of the list anywhere. However, string you are not able to change. That is the immutable data. I'm going to skip the F string. So, but later you will get the help of the F string. It's a format. The string is introduced recently in new Python version. It's a formatted string. It's a very, very convenient way to display the formatted the string in Python preview. So I'm going to end today's lecture with this problem, reverse string. So reverse string, this problem is very simple. So enter any string, for example, Jeongkyu, then you can display backward like that. Okay, how can you do that? Why don't you open the reverse? I already gave you the solution here. So this is the reverse function. So I create the reverse function. The input is the string. So let's go to the main function. So I'm going to ask the enter string. So you are able, you can put any string like the Jeongkyu. Then the return is the reverse order of the input string. First, why don't we run the program? Then see the another solution. Python 3 reverse the py. So Jeongkyu output is the UYKGNOEJ. This is the reverse order of the input string. Okay, how do I solve the problem? So let's see this example. So first enter the string and then for the reverse function. So reverse function is I'm going to create the local variable result. This will be created inside the reverse function. Then, as we have seen before, we can use the range function. But this time, using slice. In the slice, we are able to access the list from last one to the first one. How? Do you remember that? So length. For example, if this is a 5, starting from the length, then reduced by 1. So this is the length of the string -1. The reason why we put the -1 is it's just always starting from the 0. Then go back to here. So for example, in case of length 5, so it's just 4. Starting from the 4, then 3, 2, 1, 0. That is this and -1 reverse order, and it's up to here. So then we can add. This is a concatenation, the character, add, and the display. So let's go back to here. If you do not understand clearly, so you can display the character every time. Print the character, then run the program. One more time. You can see it access from the last one, UYKGNOEJ. So like this one. It's a reverse order you are able to, like this way. The first I is the 5 because the HELLO exclamation mark is length is a 6. 6 minus 1 is a 5. And the range of 5 minus 1 will be this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so then you can use the list as a full loop, which means the string STRI is the last one, and then this, and the reverse order you can display. Okay, then what you're gonna do is this the only solution? No, there are really the many different solutions. So let me show you one more the solution. So another approach is like this one. We can use the string like the list. So directly use the string for loop like this. Okay. Then result is character. First character is the H, right? Then this is the result. Then next one is the E. Where do you add the E? It's the beginning, E. The next one is the L. L will be added the beginning, like this. And next one is L. Next one is O. Next one is the exclamation mark. What is this? This is a reverse order. So you can create another function 2 by removing the pass. Then the result 2 is the result, is the then full of ch in string. That's the input, and result is ch concatenate the result, then return result. And change the main function result 2. Then see what's going on. Jeongkyu. Then it's the same thing, right? It's correct. It's a reverse order. This is another way. This is a homework. So there's also much more the easier way to reverse. So why don't you try to find create your own code to reverse the string? Okay. So why don't you create your own code in the reverse string by the next class? So by the next class, one more homework. This one is called the palindrome. Palindrome means, like for example, here are the example of the palindrome. Like starting read this way is the same as the read this way. The from beginning to last to beginning, exactly same thing. For example, this is the example of the Hindi, and this is the example of the Korean. So for example, you can see the same letter here, and the next the same letter, and so on. This is a different example. So you can check you don't have to create it's not easy, but you can check the code inside based on the reverse. How can you do that? If reverse and the original are the same, that's the palindrome. Makes sense, right? So why don't you take a look at but if you are able to code the palindrome, much better. So why don't you do the first homework is the why computer separate the heap and the stack area. Second homework is the result. You can code your own reverse function. Then if you are able to do, why don't you try the palindrome? Okay, thanks so much for your joining today. So as I said, I really fast. So please watch the video again. Then you are able to catch up if there is any missing part. Okay, thanks so much for your joining. And next week we will talk about the file IO that cover how to read the data from file and how to write the data to the file. It's very important in any program language. There's no TA time from now on. So thanks so much for your joining. And we will see the next week. Thank you. Thank you so much, Erwin, Nick, and Brian. Thank you.